What is good, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Weekday Wagers. My name is Mark Wallace. I am so glad that you are able to join us here, whether it's here on our YouTube channel or over on our social pages. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us. And I say us because I got Robbie Hockey here with me. There is so much to get into. We're going to be talking some NFL free agency craziness that is still happening. And now that it's official that these trades can actually take place beginning today, we got some just hellish scoring taking place in the NBA last night. And it was kind of a quiet night on the ice last night. And it's going to be especially quiet since there's only 2 games scheduled for tonight. But before we bring Robbie in, before we start getting into what the hell is happening with Team USA and the World Baseball Classic, let's take a look and see what happened yesterday. And yesterday, you know what? Toronto does what Toronto does, and they cashed for me going on the under 3 goals last night. Nathan McKinnon, what the hell were you doing? I mean, you know what? Not just – I better bring in Robbie at this point because Robbie's the guy to ask. Robbie, first of all, how you doing today before we get into Nate McKinnon?
Not great. I gave some money back to the books yesterday because all the good stars were missing last night, at least the ones that I tailed. The guys like McKinnon, 0 points. McCarr, 0 points. Your guy, Tage Thompson, couldn't even get me a point. What are y'all doing? On a 13-game slate on a Tuesday, you expect a lot of bigger guys to score, and they just didn't. It was a rough night on the ice for this guy.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting, right? I mean, we talked about yesterday some of these big battles, Edmonton and in Colorado. And to be fair, the game delivered. It ended really goofy in that Nathan McKinnon gets a 5-minute major for goalie interference, which, you know, we were talking before the show about what happened to Nate and he just kind of disappearing act. And that was kind of the icing on the cake, right?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw that, I said, well, it's time to go to bed. I've stayed up too long already as is. I'm going to bed now. Okay. I was like, thank you, Nate. That just sealed it for me. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And you know, to your point with Tage Thompson, I think that him and Alex Tuck have been so good and they have been on this tremendous scoring streak. I thought Tage had 3 good looks last night that I forget the goalie's name for the San Jose, Yaroslav
Askarov.
Yeah. Askarov. That he made some lights out save because he had plenty of good looks at scoring a goal last night. I was just a little shocked that he didn't come through for you.
Yeah, when I saw him and Tuck for a point and it was still around plus money, it kind of made me think, oh, I don't know, maybe I should have stayed away because it was trending up. Like it was getting around minus 120 area. And then yesterday it was lower. I'm like, it's the Sharks, though. It's a high-scoring game. If Tuck or Tage, either one gets a goal, surely the other one's going to assist. The guy who did come through for me was Rasmus Dahlin. He had an assist last night. So I did have 1 green check mark, thank God. It was Rasmus Dahlin. So thank you
go
to him.
And talk about green check marks, right? There's one guy in the NFL who came up needing some green check marks and didn't get them. And we're talking about Max Crosby. And as a Ravens fan, all that Max Crosby news has been a roller coaster of emotions for me. You know, absolutely 100%. There has been so much now talked about this knee injury. And I'm still not really sure, and maybe you are. Is it because he hasn't healed correctly from this injury, or is there still potential damage that's stopping this trade from going forward?
From what I gathered today, it's because he kept playing on it last year, and I don't think it was able to heal properly. But there's also that conspiracy theorist in me that says the Ravens saw all of this before and agreed to it, and then all of a sudden maybe the Trey Henderson price came in, and they realized they could probably get him cheaper. So maybe it was one of those things they knew about it, had it in their back pocket. I don't know. That, like I said, that's a conspiracy theorist way to look at it. But he did play on it a lot last year, and I think that's what's hampered his rehabilitation.
And I know he was on crutches up until last week. So it's not like this. I mean, he had surgery in the offseason. He was on crutches up until last week. So you kind of know that as a team going into it. And the conspiracy theorists, to your point, are the Dallas Cowboys doctor is the one that kind of flagged this and said, ooh, something's not right here.
If he heads to Dallas, go ahead and put the tinfoil hat on me. Then I think it's a full-blown conspiracy.
Gotcha. Let's talk about it. Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens now. First of all, huge loss for Cincinnati. What does that do for the Ravens? And is it the equivalent of landing a Max Crosby?
Well, my thing is they both had medicals coming out of last season. Trey didn't play at all. He has his own medical history. So what distinguishes his from Max's? And also, I think the Ravens were able to hold on to 2 first-round picks and still get Trey Henderson. The price is pretty similar to Max's deal, but you're keeping your 2 first-round picks. And for that, I would rather have Trey over Max just to keep those in my back pocket.
All right. And speaking of keeping things in your back pocket, there is a quarterback who is going to have a lot of jingle in that pocket. Danny Dimes, we got to change his name to Danny Dollars. He just signed a nice 2-year deal. What are your thoughts on Danny Dimes staying with Indianapolis?
Man, my initial reaction was, gosh, that's such an overpay. And then you look at what he did last season. He had over 3,100 yards passing. You know, I think he had 19 touchdowns, and they were 8-2 at one point prior to him getting hurt. He got hurt in the Jacksonville game, and then the Colts went on to lose not only that game, but their next 4. So when you correlate that team, Danny Dimes was a big part of the reason why they're out there, why they did so well before. And you also look at the market. Who are you going to bring in? Kyler Murray going to be your next savior? I would rather have 6 foot whatever Danny Dimes who could run a touchdown in whenever I get to the goal line than Kyler. Sorry, Kyler, but you're short.
Okay. All right. I mean, you know, to be fair, Geno Smith was available up until yesterday. So I mean, there's always the Geno Smith argument to be made. And look at this chat. This is crazy. DG says I look like a park ranger today. I don't know that I feel like I was going for Tim Lincecum from the San Francisco Giants, the pitcher, maybe.
Yep.
Some sort of semblance. Joe thinks looks like he's always on the verge of saying top of the morning to you. That's only when I have a Jameson in my hand, and it's typically not in the morning. So I don't know about that one. Here's the other. This is the one that kind of sent me. I look like I would shine this flashlight at you near dusk and tell you the park's closing soon. And DG, I would have to do it because you would probably be in the back seat of your car. I would be telling you it's time to move on. So there is that. Talk about shooting the lights out. Well, I talk about dusk and going into nighttime. Somebody had a hell of a night last night, and that's Bam Adebayo, who hung 83 points last night. He had 30 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Second all-time to Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, and not to diminish anything what Bam did last night, but he hit a ton of threes, and to Wilt's credit, he did it in a time when there was no three-point line to be had. It was all straight made baskets. Right. Your impressions of an 83 in this era of the NBA?
83 in any era of the NBA is impressive. I don't care if you take 63 free throws. If you can put up 83 points in a game, it's damn impressive. Like you and I were joking off the air, him and his girlfriend, Asia Wilson, I would just go ahead and congratulate them on their pregnancy because he wasn't missing last night when he shot his shot. So I don't think he's going to miss either after the game. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, that was awesome. I'm glad that, you know, I didn't have a good day betting yesterday, but at least I wasn't somebody that said take his under on points because those guys must feel like absolute dog crap today. So.
How it's bad enough when you lose a bet, but to be on the wrong side of that one.
Yeah.
Because I believe his line was at 23.5. And
yeah.
I think he obviously crushed that in the first quarter by putting up 30. But we have to talk about being on the wrong side of things. Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. What the hell is going on? And why, with the lineup that we have, why the hell are we going to be nail biting tonight, hoping that Italy beats Mexico?
Well, Team USA, I guess, was watching too much of Team Canada. Got told how great they were, and then Italy came out and smacked them last night. It was 8-1 at one point, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what are they doing?" And then I think they came back. It finished 8-6, but at one point I was like, "Are they really going to make the comeback? Are they really going to do it?" And they fell short. What they need to do is hire a travel baseball head coach, because those guys know every scenario to every tournament to everything they need, and they're going to tell you about it 37 times before you even get to the game. So they should have hired one of those guys to coach the team. But I don't know. Here's how tonight's going to go. We need Mexico to score 5 runs if they win.
If they win, they have to score at least 5 runs.
And then Italy just needs to win, and we're in, right?
Correct. Yep.
So Mexico is going to win 4-1 or something like that, and we're going to be left out.
Look, if you're Mark Derosa right now, there's a couple things you can't do, obviously. This is going to be a blemish on any baseball managing resume that you have. As a alternative career, you can take accounting off the table. No one, as DG points out, he will never, ever count anything for him, which I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But you certainly don't want Mark Derosa doing your taxes, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, no. He can edit his LinkedIn and take accounting off there if that was what he did before. So,
what do you think? What do you think happens tonight? Because first of all, the Italians won.
Yeah,
I was as shocked to learn the Italians had a team in this field, which it was only as surprising to find out that Israel has a team in the World Baseball Classic. I was like, who are these players, right?
Well, yeah. And when you get the notification of who hits home runs for these countries, it makes you think they play for these countries.
Right.
Like, I knew Jack Caglione played for Italy. I mean, That's an Italian name. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But some of these other guys I hear, I'm like, wait, what? Really? Okay.
Yeah. Who did I see? I saw Watson. And I'm like, okay. Maybe it's pronounced differently in the old country. I have no idea. Good old Cags. Look at you throwing out some Gator knowledge.
Hey, I followed Jack Caglione. It was awesome.
For the Team USA, what do you think? I mean, do you like them to advance? Do you think that they can advance?
No, I don't like it right now. I think if I had a gun to my head and had to bet it, I would say that they don't advance, because this is a hole that why would Mexico want to score 5 runs? Say they're up 3-0, top of the 8th. Why would they even try at that point, right? You got to hope Italy comes out and can actually score on them. That's the thing. And what's the motivation for Italy as well? I mean, if you can just keep a low-scoring game, they're still in. So what does it even matter to them at this point?
That is so interesting. So you actually talk about conspiracy theories. You think that the Italian team and the Mexico team could actually, hey, let's just kind of keep the U.S. team. Let's make sure that they don't get in.
Look at that lineup. If you had a chance to keep that lineup out, I know they had their fault last night, but if you don't have to play those guys again ever in this tournament, why wouldn't you? I mean, I would try to make a deal with the Italians coach, under the table at the bar when nobody was around with cameras.
Yeah, but do you think that happens in today's day and age? I mean, everybody's got a camera.
Hey,
I've got one. I've got mine right here.
If Ohtani can have Ipe get him out of the gambling thing, I think we can figure out a way to keep USA out of the World Baseball Classic.
All right. Fair point. That's very interesting. You know what? Because I didn't even go down that road of, hey, you've got these two teams now who are basically playing a game, because if Mexico wins, right, it's over for the U.S. team. But if they score more than 5 runs, or 5 or more runs, I should say, then U.S. is in, because the run count beats out the Italians, and it is what it is. I never even thought that these guys could talk about, hey, listen, we're going to take it nice and easy. Let's turn it into a pitcher's duel.
DG
Italy,
does
you
make
can't
a good
win.
point. DG makes a good point. Aaron Nola is on the mound for Italy today. That's the only thing that kind of scares me about this, because that guy gives up a lot. I wouldn't – that's the only thing that scares me about this. But we know Randy Arozarena isn't going to try to hit the ball if he can get Cal Raleigh out of this after what happened the other day.
Yeah, all of a sudden that little handshake.
Maybe you should have fist bumped him.
Something.
Yeah.
Look, before we get into our plays that we are on today, you know what we have to do. It's time for a little Bassett's Blends.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Seabass, the only 5-star chef in the game. We all know sports betting is full of bad beats and tough calls, but when it comes to flavor, there's no second guessing. Bassett's Blends is the plus EV lock of every meal. We don't need a stinking model. Crafted with winning spices and bold taste, Bassett's Blends comes in 3 flavors: original, hot, and no salt. That's going to turn chicken, steak, vegetables, any dish into a can't-miss cover every night. With Bassett's Blends, there's no bad beats, no flavor fades, just guaranteed greatness. Check out the link right here where you can pick up your Bassett's Blends for a guaranteed lock every single night.
Talking about we don't need no stinking model. Well, I got more on that a little bit later. But tonight, well, I shouldn't even say tonight, because this game is tipping off this afternoon. This is the SEC tournament being held right there in Robbie's backyard down in Nashville. And I'm taking Mississippi State and Auburn, the total to go over 158.5 at minus 115. And look, at first glance here, this is a huge number for both of these teams. But when you actually start digging into how they actually play, it totally makes sense as to why this total is sitting where it is. Neither Mississippi State nor Auburn has been able to defend consistently all season long. In fact, Mississippi State is giving up nearly 82 points per game, and Auburn isn't much better, allowing just over 80. The Bulldogs' defense lately has completely fallen apart. Over their last 5 games, they've given up around 99 points per game. Let me say that again. The last 5 games, they have allowed almost 100 points per game, which is exactly the kind of trend that pushes totals like this even higher. We already saw how this matchup can play out earlier this season when these two teams met. Mississippi. Let me say that again. Mississippi State won that game, 91-85, which easily clears this number, even when Auburn shot the ball that game at just over 39%. So even if Auburn is having an off night, this total sailed to the over. I think that we see some normal efficiency today. And with that, the scoring ceiling in this game jumps through the roof. Both teams have multiple scorers who are comfortable pushing tempo. Mississippi State has a guy named Josh Hubbard, who's already showed what kind of explosion is possible against Auburn, where he dropped 46 points in that first meeting. So Auburn needs to keep pressure on. They need to keep that offensive pressure up after dropping 3 of its last 4 games if they're looking to advance, not just in this tournament, but possibly make the NCAA tournament. Look for a ton of scoring in this one, and that's why I'm playing the over 158.5. Robbie, what do you want?
Yeah, your eyes doesn't deceive you. You're not drunk. I am taking a money line play. The biggest reason why is when they announced Samuel Harrison was going to start in goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. Looked at the JTS model. It likes Washington to win, so I'm always happy to be on the right side of the model. But Harrison is terrible. 9-10-5 with a 3.4 goals allowed and an average save percentage of .859. He is 1-5 in his career versus the Capitals. And in their last 8 matchups, the Caps are 7-1 against the Flyers. Washington came out Monday, broke their 3-game losing streak by dominating the Flames 7-3. What did the Flyers do? They played the New York Rangers and got their asses kicked 6-2. Washington is still 7 points out of a wild card spot, trailing Boston right now. They need every win they can get. So give me the Washington Capitals on the money line. Found that at minus 120 at Bet365.
Oh, I like it. Look, I debated, Rob. I didn't know what we should do. We only have 2 hockey games tonight, but I did it anyway. I just went right ahead. I put together a little light the lamp because, hey, we got 2 games. There's 5 guys, and full disclaimer here. Actually, I should say full disclosure. Caulfield is a game time decision, right? He possibly has the flu.
Correct. Yeah, he was a guy that he didn't perform, but there was a reason. He had like flu-like symptoms last night.
Okay.
And it was Toronto, so they didn't need him because it was Toronto. They only scored 1 goal, so you didn't even need him.
Dude, Toronto's so bad. So bad. So bad. And Joe is right. I am persona non grata when it comes to venturing into Toronto. I do a whole disguise now, wig, beard, funny glasses, the whole thing.
After Team USA's win, that whole country's banning me from ever.
So tonight we got Brady Tkachuk at plus 165. If Cole plays, plus 175. Tim Stutzel at plus 180. The big O, Alex Ovechkin at plus 200. And Nick Suzuki, I'll ride my motorcycle anywhere at plus 230. Who do you like on this list? Or are you going off the board today?
So the big O needs to come through better than the big Cooch yesterday because the big Cooch didn't do anything. I don't mind Ovi at his price, and here's one of the reasons why. He's 2 goals away from joining Wayne Gretzky as the second player in NHL history to hit 1,000 goals in the regular season and in the playoffs. So he's 2 goals away. He could probably get that this season. But honestly, I'm going to go with Nick Suzuki. That's my guy. That's a bet I've actually already made. He's an Ontario native. He has 3 goals in his last 7 games against Ottawa, and he has 5 goals in his last 10 overall. So give me Nick Suzuki tonight.
I am going to go with a guy that, to your point that you made earlier about guys, expecting to produce last night and just ended up getting cardio. The one guy who kept a point streak alive, Tim Stutzel, who now has a 12-game point streak going. And I think tonight he finds the back of the net. He's got the assists are there. He's getting plenty of opportunities. Obviously, that line that he's on is doing some damage because he's finding ways to get his teammates some points. I think eventually what they try to do is they try to limit him finding and making those passes, force him to shoot the puck, and I think he gets into the net tonight.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for Montreal. They're underdogs for a reason. They came off the West Coast road trip. They played Toronto last night, which, like we've already covered, you don't have to do much to beat them. You got your star player who's having flu-like symptoms. I mean, there's a reason why Ottawa's favored tonight because they've also, I think, Ottawa's won, 3 straight as well. Still in a chance for the playoffs right now. They only find themselves 5 points out of the playoff hunt. Right. So they're right there. I don't hate that play either. I think at least Tim Stützle should be in a point parlay. Anybody that's gone 12 games with a point straight, you got to put them somewhere in a parlay.
Well, Tony thinks the American Alex Ovechkin is going to light the lamp tonight. So I love that look. That look. Hey, listen, this is a great spot to kind of tell you. We talked about, I love when Seabass says he doesn't need no stinking model. We have a new video that is dropping tonight. First of all, I got so many requests for an additional video. We posted one on our Weekday Wagers channel, a month and a half ago?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, about a little basic NBA model, real easy to follow. This is a Major League Baseball first 5 model that is a little more refined than that NBA model was. It's a little more, it dives a little deeper into looking at some numbers, making that model more accurate eventually is what it is. So make sure you head over to the Weekday Wagers channel later on. Keep those notifications on. If you don't already have them, subscribe so you don't miss anything. Because as soon as that video drops, you'll be able to build a very, very easy to follow model that I know that I will personally be using as soon as the Major League Baseball season kicks up and gets started. And if you have a desire to learn about model building in general, guess what? I got great news for you. And Joe, I blame you, Joe, because when we met in Las Vegas, as we were sitting there talking over not a lot of beverages, I had one beer. You asked me a question, and the question, I don't even know that Joe remembers this, but it stuck with me. Joe asked me a question. He said, how did you get into building a model? And that question with me, it resonated because I think there's so many people who have that question. How did you get started? Right. And there's not a lot of books out there. There's not a lot of literature on how to build your model. Well, guess what? Starting March 15th, this coming Saturday, you will be able to go over to Amazon and order yourself a Seeing the Board, an introduction into building sports models and finding edges by yours truly. It took me a lot longer than I thought it would to write a book. Well, first of all, I never thought I'd be able to write a book. But to put this book together took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. And it is not a complicated read by any stretch. It is not a complicated read. This is not a college level type textbook by any stretch of the imagination. What this really does, it is a basic introduction to building models. And it's not so basic that you're like, yeah, well, no shit, I could have figured this out. But what it does do is it talks a lot about what people don't really know how to do. And that is apply weightings to metrics, the difference between descriptive metrics and predictive metrics, and being able to break those down and incorporate them into your models. So look, March 15th, Saturday, go over to Amazon. It's $19.99 for the book. It is what it is. It's not a long read at all. I would be so thrilled if you ever thought about getting into modeling. Not the one that you're going to end up in a magazine taking pictures with, but building computer models. Get over there and get it. So, DG, I can't wait to find the first spelling error. And you know what? I can honestly tell you that if you do, it's not on me, because it got sent to an editor, and the editor then, yes. So it got reworked. It's been looked over by several pairs of eyes. So I don't think that there is going to be a spelling error. And so let me be clear, Joe. There's no royalties in this for you, okay? Did you inspire me to write the book? No, your question resonated with me because I feel like your question is the same question that so many people have. So that's what inspired me to write the book. Is that should still work for legal, right?
Should work. Yeah.
Okay. Look, it is what it is. I'm thrilled to death. All of the proceeds, except for a nickel, I will retain a nickel from every book sold. Everything else is going to a veterans organization called Clear Path for Vets. They do so much incredible work here in upstate central New York that they're receiving the proceeds of the book. So this is not a money grab by any stretch. I'm trying to do a good thing, and I'm keeping a nickel because I want to be able to say if I had a nickel for every time I sold a book, I'd be rich.
There you go.
Say something stupid, which is pretty on brand for me. So there's that. I'm trying to think. I'm still on you choosing an editor. Well, you're right. Joe says it's still on me for choosing the editor.
Hey.
You're right. Just like it's on Team USA for choosing the manager.
Yeah.
Right. I guess it all works out.
Yeah.
In addition, I know we only have 2 hockey games on.
Yeah.
Anything else that has got? Oh, I know. In fact, I asked that question and I'm like, damn it, I know exactly what he's going to be watching tonight.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be watching it too.
Survivor, baby. They're switching tribes because Cherie sucks and her tribe sucks. So now they got to make a whole new tribe that she's going to go on and mooch off of, and they're going to fall apart too. And she's going to somehow waddle her way to the damn merge. So yippee for Cherie. I can't wait to see how she screws up another tribe tonight.
So you're not hot. You don't really like Cherie in the contest.
I don't like her at all. She's not my favorite, as my kids would say. That's not my favorite. She's not my favorite.
Do you have as of right now, Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I do. I like Jonathan, big buff dude, and it's a lot of what he does outside of Survivor. Yeah, he works a lot with an old professional wrestler, Lex Luger. He's kind of been his trainer and getting him back to walking again. Him and Diamond Dallas Page. So I see a lot of that. I really like Jonathan. First thing that comes to my mind is him. That's who I like. I like Colby because I'm an old school Survivor fan, so I like Colby as well. Those are probably my top two right now that I'm pulling for.
Okay. And I didn't get a chance to ask, well, last week I was filling in for you on Thursday, and I didn't get a chance to ask DG. We had Seabass on the show. What is this Survivor 50 is so interesting to me because it is, and you just mentioned it, he's that old school Survivor type. It's a mix of old and new era Survivor. What are my initial impressions on the old school versus new is that the old school is kind of winning. And it's interesting how this younger Survivor generations are having a hard time fitting in and figuring out how to go old school.
Because the younger ones are lazy. I think Q nailed it last week. Rizzo, lazy. And the other chick, lazy. He's like, all they do is just sit around. He goes, if people didn't build them a shelter, they would just be content with sitting in the rain. And when you watch it, I kind of agree with that because you look at the ones who are working, and it's all the old heads that are working. There's a couple of new ones, but yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I think maybe mentality is another part of it. I thought it was weird how Ozzy and Coach have this beef now because Coach did a maneuver that I would have done too. Oh, if you get that off the pole, I won't take it. Yeah, I'm taking it, Survivor. You lie, cheat, and steal.
And to Coach's defense, he never said
exactly
that he was going to make that agreement with anybody.
Exactly.
Because that's that old school. Hey, listen, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yep.
Right. And does that come back to hurt him, especially since he cramped up while he was out spearfishing and had to be rescued by the divers that they had on staff?
Yeah, well, just by looking at Coach, I don't think he should have been the one going out in the water. He's a little bit older now. It's not the same Dragon Slayer, which he never was a Dragon Slayer looking thing to begin with, but he definitely isn't now. Seeing him cramp up, man, I was like, all right, Coach, just set this one out. Depends on how he plays his game. Now that they're doing the tribe swap, I hope him and Ozzy get on the same tribe. I really do, because I think that'll make for some great television.
Well, listen, it's sure to be a hell of a show tonight. I can't wait.
John wanted me to mention he was pissed because his girl, Savannah, got voted off, and he fell asleep, and it was my fault. I was like, John, I think she's all right, before they started showing everybody going after her. Next morning, I was like, John, Savannah got voted off. He goes, well, I'm not watching that show anymore. Got ready for school.
Hey, listen, when your dog is out of the fight, it's out of the fight, right? What's there to watch?
Makes sense.
I love it. You and DG will be on tomorrow, 2:00 Eastern Standard Time, right here, breaking down tonight's Survivor episode. So tomorrow, if you haven't watched Survivor, be prepared because there's going to be some spoilers. You're going to find out what happened. This is not a week delay like we did with the traders. This is next day. We're breaking it down, getting ready for next week. With that, besides Survivor, listen, thank you all for joining myself, Robbie, here on this Wednesday afternoon. It means the world to us. Really, really appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out, please. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because that MLB First Five model will be dropping later on this evening. You don't want to miss that, especially with MLB right around the corner. With that, we will see you back here tomorrow at 2:00 Eastern. Until then, take care of yourselves. Let's cash these tickets. Peace.